Hi everyone, and welcome to my video for my August card classes. Since we have COVID-19 and we can't really meet in person, I've had to resort to videos. So this is the video of the first card that I have designed. Now the theme of my cards this month are a sampler of the August-December mini catalog, and this is it. If you have not received one from me and you don't have a demonstrator, please let me know and I'll make sure you get one. Okay, so for the first book, or first card that we're going to be making, we're going to be using the Gilded Autumn Suite. And for the first card, we're going to be using some of this beautiful Gilded Autumn Specialty Designer Series paper, which has copper and gold foil on some of the pages. And then we're going to use this beautiful autumn bundle and these 3 punches. So let's get started. This is the card that we will be making, and it has the Designer Series paper as the front, and then I have stamped and colored several of the 2 of the leaves and the little acorn and the inside. So let's get started on this one. The supplies you'll need are pretty simple. The sentiment that I used comes from A Beautiful World, which you can find in the annual catalog. And then this is the Beautiful Autumn Photopolymer Stamp Set. And if you notice, I am hand coloring it with Stampin' Blends. But if you do not care to color with Stampin' Blends, there are solid images here so that you can ink them up and then match them up and color them that way. Okay, some of the other supplies you're going to be needing is this. The only thing we're die cutting is this frame, and this is from Ornate Frames. And then we'll be using Early Espresso. Okay, so let's get our stamping. Oh, another thing you're going to be getting is this faux suede 1/4 inch ribbon, which is beautiful. Okay, so let's get the stamping done. First, we're going to stamp on a piece of scrap, very vanilla, and we're going to stamp the inside of the card. And this is 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so the sentiment, so let's just stamp the inside first. The sentiment for the inside says, "Thank you for being part of mine." When it says life is a beautiful journey, it says thank you for being part of mine. So we're going to stamp this first using the Early Espresso. And one little hint is once you mount your stamp, if you just stamp it on your grid paper, just to make sure you've got it straight, okay? So you don't waste valuable paper. So there we go. Okay, we've got that stamped. So now on this piece of scrap paper, we're going to stamp the front sentiment here, and then we'll cut that out with the die. Another hint is that once you ink up your stamp, let it sit on the paper for just a little bit so that the inks can be absorbed into the paper. There. Okay. And then these are the photopolymer stamps. These are the leaves, and we use 2 of the maple leaves, so I'm going to stamp that twice. 1 of the oak leaf, because okay, let's try that one more time. There, that's better. Okay, and then also we've got the acorn, so we're into the acorn. There we go. Okay, one thing I did forget to stamp on this inside one is that there was a little fleur-de-lis or some little swishy thing here that goes right underneath there like that. There. Okay, our stamping is done. So now we're going to color these. Okay, the maple leaf is going to be colored with light Mango Melody. The oak leaf is going to be colored with dark Cajun Craze, and the acorn, the top of it's going to be colored with dark soft suede, and the bottom of it with light soft suede. So I will start coloring. We're going to start with the acorn, and we're going to start with the dark soft suede at the top. There are two ends to these. There's the brush end, which is the wider line, and then there's the bullet end, which is the narrower line. So when you're doing fine coloring, it's easier to use the bullet end, and also you use the bullet end for blending. So, and I use little tiny circles to fill it in, and it does, when it dries, it is a little lighter. Okay. And then we will do the bottom, which is a little lighter. Doesn't take long at all to color these, and like I said, you can use the stamps to color them. Okay, the oak leaf. We will color that with the light Cajun Craze. Again, the bullet end and little tiny circles to get into those little tiny places that need to be colored. If you stamp these, it goes a lot faster, but because of this video, I did not want to have to stick my head in the camera, because that's the only way you can see it, is if you stand right on top of it. Okay, there we've got that. And then here is the Mango Melody for the maple leaf. These blends go on so nicely and evenly. You don't get any lines or anything like that. The only thing is that because they are alcohol markers, they do smell a little bit, and also they bleed through the other side. So you should always be protecting your surface when you're using these. There, okay. See how it bleeds through? Okay, so now I'm going to use the little stamps, or the little punches that we have. This comes in a pack of 3. It's the maple leaf, the acorn, and the oak leaf. So I'm going to punch out the acorn first. And I recommend that you line these up and then punch them down. Otherwise they go flying. See, let me just put that there. Okay. So now the oak leaf. And that dark Cajun Craze really makes it look like an oak leaf color. The inspiration for this card actually comes from my fellow Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. We formed a group called Central Illinois Stray Ducklings. And the reason we formed that was because all of us had lost our uplines, and we were kind of free-floating and not getting much leadership from anybody, so we decided we'd provide our own leadership. And if you become a demonstrator under me, not only do you get the benefits of Stampin' Up, but you get to join the Stray Ducklings. Okay, so I am going to take, see, I've got my leaves, and I am going to take this, see, and just put that around there and cut it out, okay? So here it is, all cut out. I've got my leaves. So now the rest of the card is, the pieces that you're going to need are a piece of crumb cake, and this is cut at 5.5 by 4 1/4, And so then you need to also score it at 1 inch, so that when you fold this, the card front is 4.5 by 5.5. 4.25, I'm sorry. So I'm going to take my bone folder. Let's put this up here. And I'm going to burnish this really well because we want the card to stay closed. Okay. The other pieces that you're going to need are this Autumn Splendor Designer Series paper, and this is cut at 5.5 by 5.25, I believe. What is that? No, it's 4 by 5.5. Yeah, 4 by 5.5. And that is going to become the front of the card. And then there's a piece of mint macaron, and the reason I picked mint macaron is because it matched that. And this is cut at 4 by 5.25. Okay, so let's start assembling the card. First, we are going to put these two together. This is the inside of the card, and I am going to use my liquid glue because that is just easier for me to do. And we just put a thin layer around the edges and just a smidge in the middle. And we're going to line this up so that it's even on all 4 sides. Okay. And then we're going to take the crumb cake card and we're going to place this on the inside of the card. This is the inside of the card, and again I'm going to use my liquid glue. I prefer liquid glue because it gives you some wiggle room, so you can kind of move it around. If you see you're a little bit off, you've got some time before it becomes too tacky. There. Okay, there we go. Okay, now to put this on, and this I will need some snail tape here. And what we're going to do is we are going to put tape right along this outer edge. And it's because this does not completely go to this line here. If it did, it would be hard to fold. So I don't want to get any glue on this side. So we are just going to slowly put some tape there. And the way you line this up is that you line up the card front like such. Lay it down and then just fold this over. And then you can open it up. There. Okay. Now, we need to add the ribbon. Okay. And again, let's see, where's my silicone mat? There it is. I use a silicone mat, especially when you've got something narrow, and this helps you keep your surface clean, and also the anything that doesn't stick to the silicone mat. So I'm going to put just a little line of tape. I'm out of tape. How about that? Okay, let's see. We got another one here. Just put a little line of tape on the ribbon, and that's just to hold it in place. And the majority of the ribbon needs to be at the bottom because I want the knot to be at the top there. So let's see if I can line this up first time. And I'm just going to put it along the seam there. There we go. Close it. Bring it to the front. Oops. I used too much glue here, I see. Okay, here. I hope I know how to edit film. Okay, there we go. And so we're going to tie a knot, and the secret to tying a knot is to do a crisscross like this. you hold it and bring the loop through. But the big secret of holding a knot is for you to hold it on top with one finger and just pull on one side. Don't pull both sides at the same time. Okay. Now this is a little movable, so what I'm going to do is use a glue dot to anchor the knot. So here I'm getting out my glue dots. And half the battle of glue dots is finding where they're at. There's one. Okay. So I'm just going to place a glue dot right underneath that knot and leave it like that. So now I can trim my ribbon so that it doesn't look too horribly long. And I've got a nifty little tie on here. So I need to straighten this out just a little bit. I think I need to move my glue dot over just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now, the rest of the card goes together very quickly. I'm going to use, let's see, let me find my dimensionals here. And I'm just using pieces here. So we're going to use dimensionals to pop this up. And I always use the sides here. Dimensionals cost money. And I use them to the nth degree here. And let's see, I'm going to have a couple of more in the corner here because I don't want saggy sentiments. Nothing worse than a saggy sentiment. Okay. So let's see, let's get that there. Remove all the backings. Make sure they're not in view. Okay, now I'm just going to place this like right here. Make sure it's straight. There. Okay, now we're getting out the glue dots again, and I will be putting the leaves on. So here's leaf number 1. Here's leaf number 2. We're going to use the oak leaf. And that will overlap just slightly like that. And then the acorn goes in the other corner. You always want an uneven number, 3. That seems to please the eye the most. That. And then this leftover maple leaf, that is going on the inside of the card, just to give it some interest here. Now, to finish it off, Winkostella. So I'm going to paint the leaves and the acorn with Winkostella just to give it a little extra something something. And there we go. Probably do a better job if I wasn't in a hurry. Okay, and then here's the maple leaf. There we have it. And there's your beautiful fall card. Thank you for watching today, and if you have any questions, please let me know. The detailed instructions on the supplies that I used on this card are attached to the, there's a, what is it, instruction sheet, which I usually give out with my classes. That will be made available, and so if you have any questions on how to make this, just let me know. Thank you.